Today I'm going to take you through a rehabilitation leg day. There's a procedure to follow with any injury you get. I've torn the ligaments and tendons in my ankle. Therefore, from the doctor I was given plantar flexion, dorsiflexion, eversion, inversion movements to complete. So essentially to build that range of motion back up and to kind of get rid of some of the scar tissue, or to prevent it. But obviously before any of that, there's the rest, ice, compression, elevation. Obviously rest is the most important thing. You need to strengthen that injured area back up. I find that my injury actually hurts more now that if I don't use it. Increase that range of motion, and now it's just a mental game and get back to it. But today's a leg day, so I'm going to take you through my rehabilitation leg day. I'm going to start with squats, go to straight leg deadlifts, Bulgarian split squats. Let's do it. I would advise either using squat shoes or just barefoot completely, because you want your feet to basically not be cushioned or there should be no spongy surfaces. You want to be as flat as possible. So squat either bare feet or with squat shoes. I forget to mention, don't go heavy when you're rehabilitating. I'm doing low bar squat. Basically what that means is I'm putting the barbell lower on my back. Therefore it kind of makes me look like I'm bending over quite a lot, but that's literally just how I'm balancing the bar. I'll show you what a high bar squat looks like. I have a lower chance of injury if I do low bar squat. I just feel way more stable. I feel like way more tight in my core. Everything feels exactly how it's supposed to feel.
The street light at the end, so I could show you you're golden, honestly you're glowing. Lean under the mezzanine just so that I could show you you're golden. Yeah, you're golden. You're golden. Yeah, you're golden.
Just for the purpose of getting used to squatting again, my sets I'm varying from low bar to high bar squat. So if you notice the barbell positioning change on my back, it's because I am switching between low bar and high bar, just for the purpose of getting back into it.
When we meet, hold my hand in the darkness. Summer heat, bodies lay on the carpet. Eye to eye, glistening, no, I saw it.
So, I'm about to do Romanian deadlifts, and the main thing you want to do with Romanian deadlifts are imagine when people bend over to go get the bar, people use their back, which is obviously not optimal. This is supposed to be a hamstring exercise when it's a posterior chain exercise. However, when you pick up the bar and when you lower yourself, you want to go halfway, just below your shins, halfway below your shins. When you're doing that, what you want to try and imagine is that you're trying to get your bum as closest to the back wall as possible. Some people, when they do it, for example, is they use complete back. So they're kind of they'll bend over to go get the bar, they'll reach over, and then they'll kind of pull up with a bit more stress on the back than they need to. However, what I do is when I pick up the bar, I've got it. I want to keep my legs a tiny bit bent, my back straight, neutral the whole time, and just try and get my bum as close to the back wall as possible. I'm keeping my shoulders retracted, not completely, but not hanging forwards, but not hanging back, neutral. Bum to the back wall. When you're down there, when the bar's halfway down near your shins, up, explode up, lower. It's about the eccentric movement. So, taking my shoes off, I want barefoot, flat foot for this. I don't want any heel elevation.
Under the
go across halfway through your foot. Shoulder width apart and feet maybe a little bit wider. You can tilt your toes out a tiny bit just for stability. I just put my hands where my shoulders drop, maybe a bit wider. So just had the leg day. I'm gonna go on a walk, meet my friend James. That I always find that going on walks will... I get your picture! Anyway, the 6 on. Walking with a friend helps me relax, especially going 100 miles an hour with like working out and everything. I mean, rehabilitation squats aren't very intense, but to supplement that, we are going on a walk and we're relaxing our mind. Hey James.
Hello.
What are we doing right now?
We're walking past Tom Hardy's house.
Tom Hardy's house? No, it is. I saw him. We said hello. We played ping pong with him.
I fucking wish.
Yeah, I had a rehabilitation leg day because my ankle, and it's getting really it's getting so much better, right? So Bezos, I can now jog on it. Don't you laugh at me, young man. I can squat. You've already seen the footage, but how exciting!
Very exciting.
Thank you, James. I got a question for you.
Yeah.
James, do you think the Industrial Revolution led to vast global unemployment?
I think it's all to do with the basketball.
I was just saying to James that how lucky are we to live in the Shire? And I say this because maybe we're not so lucky. I nearly stepped in that. Because like we can literally walk outside our houses and within like 10 to 15 minutes we can be like in nature, like immerse ourselves in nature. Like there's fields, there's animals, there's trees, it's nature.
Yes, Charlie, there are trees.
It was lovely to see your beautiful face.
Okay.
So yeah, decent. I'll catch you when you're older, if that's even possible. Taken.
Dying anytime soon, I think.
No, just you're an old man.
Get my vaccines, get vaccinated.
Get vaccinated.
Get vaccinated.
We went on a lovely social distance walk. James is getting vaccinated. Hopefully this summer, everyone's back